All right, welcome back, and we're going to continue reading the Bible for children for bedtime. My name is Nathan, and we are on chapter 4, A Family Tragedy. The man became known as Adam, and his wife was named Eve. Adam and Eve made their home in the land beyond Eden. Life was very hard for them, but they found joy in their sorrow. Eve gave birth to 2 sons. The first she named Cain, and the second was named Abel. Abel grew up to be a shepherd, looking after his flocks. He spent his life in the hills, watching over the sheep in all weathers, keeping them safe in the harsh storms that thundered in the sky, or protecting the lambs in the spring from the wolves that came prowling. Cain was a farmer who dug the earth, planted crops. He looked for the plains far below, digging and hacking the earth. He sweated and sighed at his work. Sometimes it was so tough he secretly raised his brow out of the hole. It seemed as if all he ever did was break up earth and sow seeds, then dig and hack and dig and hack and just always sowing and always working on the ground. Time passed and Cain and Abel decided to make a special offering to God. Cain chose some of his crops, a few vegetables, some of his fruits. His offering might not be the best of all his offerings or all of the stuff that he had to give that he had grown that year, but it was fair choice after all. God had the whole world, so what was just a little tiny offering? So Cain decided to give what he thought was good enough for the Lord, where you'll see Abel wanted to please the Lord with what he wanted. Abel thought differently. He believed that everything he had belonged to God, so he chose as an offering the finest sheep from his whole flock. God was pleased with Abel's gift, and Cain became jealous. He felt anger burning inside of him. He shouted at his younger brother and poured scorn upon him. God saw what happened and said to Cain, "Why are you angry? If you do what is right, then you will win my approval too." God knew that Cain resented giving even the smallest offering, that he hated his brother bitterly. So he just couldn't stand him. And when Abel found favor with God, Cain just became even more angry. Cain whispered, "God, sin is crouching at the door of your life." And of course, God was whispering to Cain, "Sin is crouching at the door of your life like an animal, ready to attack you, but you must win the battle against the evil in your heart." Cain refused to listen. He found Abel, said to him, "Why don't we go for a walk in the fields?" When they were alone together, Cain turned to his brother Abel in a fury and killed him. Cain quickly dug a hole in the ground and buried Abel. He covered him up with stones and soil, but God called out to him, "Cain, where is your brother Abel?" "How should I know?" Cain shrugged his shoulders. "Am I my brother's keeper?" So as you can see, Cain did something horrible, and he's just angry inside. "What have you done?" asked God. Sorrowfully, his voice was like the wind raging across wild plains. "Your brother's blood is crying to me from the earth." So how interesting. They always say life is in the blood, and you have the blood in the earth is crying out to the Lord to avenge him, most likely. Cain sank down to his knees. His terrible crime could not be hidden from God, who told him, "Now you are under a curse. You must leave the land, which will never be fruitful for you again. From today, and you will be restless, wanderer through the earth." Cain trembled in fear at the thought of the punishment, but God took pity on him. "I will protect you wherever you go," he promised. So Cain left his home forever and journeyed far away. And of course, what he also did here is that God marked Cain so that all will know that he is protected by God and not to kill him. And the mark, the wonder is what the mark could have been. But that is the end of chapter 4. I hope you guys have wonderful dreams. We love you. Good night.